Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, a pop and geek culture show. I'm Cody, and one time when I was a child, I rented the NES game Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf because I thought it would be like some sort of golf beat-em-up hybrid.
Oh, that would be great.
But that's not what it was. It was just golf.
Oh, bummer. I'm Sam, and I guess when I rented video games, I rented World Heroes the Fighting Game way too often.
I'm Josh, and when I was a kid, we rented Clay Fighter a lot.
I owned Clay Fighter.
I think we eventually owned it too.
Yeah. Oh, Clay Fighter was, you know what? It was not very good, but someone is going through and they've put out what do they call it? Tournament edition. And it's a ROM hack where they are adding combos and an actual timer that you can read instead of those bomb lines or whatever.
Yeah.
They actually are making it a legitimate game.
Making it playable.
They're basically they took the Street Fighter 2 framework and they put the Clay Fighters into it. So like it's actually good. I played a demo of it. It's legit.
I prefer Claymates.
Oh yeah, Claymates. That's the
It's a platform
that was
game,
the platformer.
but it
yeah.
uses the same like claymation scan.
It's the same
look.
studio that did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We're so glad that you are here listening to our sweet, sweet voices.
Our docile tones.
Our docile tones. That's right.
Oh, my voice is terrible, and I apologize for it.
No, we all have.
We all have our gargly voice days.
Yeah, it's all good. But so we have a bunch of things to talk about. A lot of news. We are at the beginning of San Diego Comic-Con. There was some Evo fighting game news. All sorts of cool stuff. But first, we're going to get into some things we have been checking out. Check it out!
You kept us in anticipation.
I was wondering how long that would last. Yeah.
I need a sound effect.
You need a sound effect?
I need a sound effect today. There we go. What happened?
What happened?
All right, so you know what? I'll jump in. I got a couple things.
Oh, good.
First up, do you guys remember Axe Cop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like 4-year-old kid writes the story and his like animator brother or his artist brother drew it.
Yeah. Do you remember the animated series?
Oh, yeah.
Axe Cop?
Yeah, watch the whole thing.
I started rewatching it, and it's fine. It's okay. The animation's really good.
Oh, yeah.
And you could very clearly tell the spots that they pulled from the comic or they asked the kid about story beats and the parts where a writing team came in and
Punched it up
a little bit.
It's definitely not as fun once the brother starts getting older.
Yeah.
And the stories are less nonsensical.
They start to be like actual stories. They're not as fun. Yeah.
Axe Cop ran out of gas pretty quick.
It did. It was a good gimmick, though.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
It was a great gimmick.
Flute Cop to Dinosaur Cop.
Oh, yeah, he turned into Dinosaur Cop.
And then he was like a dinosaur soldier. That's what it was.
I feel like when the show came out, it was already too late.
It was right on the cusp. Well, I think it was
Yeah.
right on the cusp of it being too late. But that's fine. They were able to pull from the earlier comics.
It's so nonsensical and it makes no sense, and that's part of what makes it great.
I imagine it's a better watch now that there's some distance between.
Oh
it
yeah,
and
no, it is. Yeah, I didn't care for it much at the time.
Yeah,
Unicorn Baby.
Oh yeah, yep. Best fairy ever. Yeah, that was one of the characters. Yeah, and I forgot Nick Offerman was the voice of Axe Cop,
which is pretty good.
Oh yeah,
it's good.
I couldn't think anybody better.
Yeah. I feel like they just like, hey, we need a guy with a mustache. Who's got a great mustache?
But yeah, I've been rewatching that. I've also went back and found the old Spawn animated series that was on HBO.
It's on Max.
Yeah, I saw it on Max the other
yeah.
day, and I realized I'd never actually watched it before, and I might.
I love it.
That.
For me, that's the definitive Spawn.
Season 2 is better than season 1. The animation's a lot crisper.
Oh yeah,
and the story is a little bit better.
Also, Keith David is.
He's
awesome,
a great. Yeah, he's a great voice. Yeah.
No, it's just funny to hear him like just, you hear him as Goliath for so long, and then you watch him in other stuff, and then just
now he's
and then just says the horrible things he says when he's Al Simmons / Spawn.
Oh yeah, that was a bit shocking, I guess.
Well,
I
yeah,
knew-
when
I
we
knew
were
it
kids.
was-
Because when we were kids, when it came out, Gargoyles was still like fresh in our minds, and that's a lot of us. That's our first Keith David role,
Sure.
was Goliath.
Kind
Kind
of
of
that, or They Live with that fight scene.
like with Roddy Piper. Piper.
Yep,
Now he's on Hazbin Hotel.
Yeah.
and Kite Man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He's Darkseid in Kite Man, and the president in Rick and Morty. He's just
He's a good voice actor.
Yeah, he's great, and he's liking everything. Mm-hmm. You're like really he never like thinks he's too good or above anything. He'll do anything.
I'd have to say one of the better characters on Hazbin Hotel. Also.
Yeah, I'm still sad that they stunt casted the Amazon series instead of pulling the voice actors they had from the pilot.
They didn't stunt cast it. They got a bunch of like Broadway people. Like,
yeah, because they're singing and stuff.
They're
yeah.
people who are just as qualified to do the voices as the original cast.
I don't know. I guess I just watched the pilot too much, and those voices are what stick with me.
Gotcha. I still have yet to watch Hazbin Hotel or Hell of a Boss.
It is.
I mean, I no reason for it. Just haven't watched it.
I could see reasons why people don't like it, and I can see reasons why people do like it. It is definitely a.
The Amazon series grew on me and ended up being pretty good. I still think Hell of a Boss sucks hard. I hate it.
Okay, got it.
I don't know. I'm caught up on Hell of a Boss, and it gradually I feel like gets better because they start getting into the characters like backstories, motivations.
That might make it better.
Why they are the way they are, even though there are some continuity errors as it goes on. Because there's an episode like I want to say it's like 2 or 3 in the first season where they go visit Millie's family, Richard Horvitz' character's wife in the Wrath Ring, and he mentions that he is also from Wrath, Richard Horvitz' character. But then there's an episode later where they go to the Greed Ring and meet his dad.
Okay, you said words. You said words. It's okay though. It's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Eventually, someday I'll sit and watch it so I can figure out what the Tumblr kids are going nuts
up
over.
to.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very much like your stock standard adult animation stuff, swearing, blood, and lots of sex jokes.
everything that a 14-year-old Hot Topic kid would love.
Oh yeah,
But-
100%.
But surprisingly squeamish on nudity.
Oh, really?
There's never any nudity
I
for
mean,
some reason.
that's fine. Whatever.
well,
last thing I did. I'll talk about this quick. Have you ever heard of the movie Roar?
Is that the one with the lions?
It is the one with the lions.
I'm not sure.
And Tippi Hedren.
Tippi Hedren and her husband Lee Marshall
And it was a
and their whole family.
A disastrous production.
Well, the byline is no lions were harmed in the making of this film. 70 crew members were. And that's not a joke. So for the backstory of it, Lee Marshall and Tippi Hedren, they loved big cats. They loved lions and everything.
Tigers, oh
yeah,
my.
and they basically, through a number of different things, they tried to own a bunch of them to like rescue them. Eventually bought a nature preserve and made it a big cat rescue with some other animals, like there was an elephant, some other stuff. And Lee Marshall decided, we're going to make a movie. We're going to make a movie about these lions. And it's going to be kind of a weird horror movie, but it'll be fine. These are untrained lions that are just living on their preserve.
So they're 2 steps away from being wild.
No, they are wild. They are wild. And basically the whole thing is, in the context of the film, guy owns a nature preserve. He leaves to do something. His family, who's been on vacation, show up. And all of a sudden, the lions get into the house. The production was fraught with disaster. Tippi Hedren's daughter has a scar all the way down. Like she had to have plastic surgery because a lion practically mauled her. Crew members injured and maimed. It took them like 10 years to make because people just kept getting hurt because of these untrained lions that they just let into their house and were like, okay, the lions are in this room. Pretend like you're running away from the lions, and the lions are like, meat.
Yeah, delicious
Yeah,
people.
don't run from apex predators. That activates their chase instinct.
Tippi Hedren had her leg broken by an elephant in that film. Legitimately, you can see it on film the moment that the elephant broke her leg.
Oh, God.
Because she's in a boat trying to get away from the lions, and an elephant shows up, and the elephant was a little bit trained. It was supposed to just pick her up in its trunk, but it got spooked and crack. It's a fascinating watch. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again, but I'm glad I watched it a first time because it's wild. It's crazy. It's a weird one.
Wow.
And also the acting's bad when they're not screaming and running away from the lions.
Well, yeah, because that's the only time it's real.
That's real. Yeah. They really are screaming and running away from the lions.
Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, crazy stuff.
Oh, that's awful. That's like reading like the production history of like the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For context, for people who don't know, the Super Mario Brothers live action movie with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo has a terrible behind the scenes history.
Well, they were hammered the whole time.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah, because they hated being in it.
they hated Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo hated the movie so much they would drink between shoots or between scenes.
The directors didn't know what they were doing.
They refused to use anything from the actual games.
It's because they were the original creators of Max Headroom.
Yes.
Yeah, Morton and Jenkel. Yeah.
They were a husband-wife director team.
Now ex-husband and wife.
Yes. Yes. They didn't want to use any of the actual established Nintendo stuff, and that's why that movie is so weird.
Well, 90% of the cast were brought on when there was a version of the script that was a fantasy film.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what it should
have been. Yeah. Instead of a weird cyberpunk underground
dystopian
dino future.
Yeah. Which, if I had a nickel for every dystopian dino future movie that came out in the 90s, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice.
Kids love dinosaurs. What's the other one?
Theodore Rex with Whoopi Goldberg.
I was just going to say Theodore Rex.
With Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, where all the dinosaurs are just a little bit psychic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's also the first time I ever heard the song...
Walk the Dinosaur?
Yeah.
Yeah. Get up, get on the floor.
Open the door on the floor.
I think the Mario Brothers movie was the first time as a kid that I realized that like movies could be bad.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
You know what? I think, you're right. You're right. You know what? When I was a kid, my mom took me to see Ernest Scared Stupid in theaters. I walked out of that movie thinking it was great.
Oh, Malk?
Malk, yeah. Mm-hmm. I forgot about that.
Fun fact about the trolls.
They were the same makeup and whatnot used from Killer Clowns in Outer Space.
That's it. Yeah, they're just repurposed.
Repurposed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I didn't know. I didn't really notice until I saw Side by Side, and I was like, "Oh, yeah,
it's definitely that." Yeah.
Well, look at cheesy independent sci-fi movies and stuff that came out after Starship Troopers came out. That armor is in everything.
Armor's in Power Rangers.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's in Power Rangers. It was in
Space or Lost Galaxy, one of the two.
Well, technically, those two I think connect.
They are still part of the
Zordon line,
the Zordon continuity. But
yeah, and then I think it was also in the Next Mutation.
It was in the Next Mutation. Yep. Yep.
Another series that was really bad.
Well, Roger Corman, he would build one set and film like 7 movies in that same set. Yeah. The set for Carnosaur is also the Fantastic Four set. You need generic lab with big light in the middle. There you go. We're gonna film 7 or 8 films, all, and we're gonna do them in a week.
You know what? It saves on money.
It does. Roger Corman was the master at making something out of nothing. His movies were not good for the most part. The ones that he produced. I mean, Bucket of Blood, his first big one, and the original Little Shop of Horrors, good films, but
Death Race is pretty good.
Death Race is pretty good, yeah.
Wait, which one?
2000.
2000.
Okay.
The one with John Carradine.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or David Carradine.
David
Carradine.
Not John Carradine.
As
That was his dad.
As Frankenstein.
Yeah. President Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah. That had Sylvester Stallone in it. It's one of his early...
Man, that movie rules.
It's good. That's good stuff. Yeah. Although my brain sometimes conflates that with Transylvania 5000.
I tried to watch that once. I was not...
It's like comedy.
Yeah.
It's like a comedy death race, kind of.
It just didn't work for me. It might have just been the time I tried to watch it.
I don't know. As far as like Transylvania and racing goes, Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf is still my favorite.
Yeah, there we go.
Shaggy. What's a Shaggy?
I don't like red shirt Shaggy.
No.
He's not right.
No.
It's not right.
It's usually your first sign that
he's
it's
too
gonna be
competent.
bad.
He's too competent.
Yeah. It's just something's wrong.
Or whenever they cut out other characters, you know you're in for a bad time probably.
I do remember the first time I watched that movie because we had it on VHS. Maybe that's the reason I like it so much because we had it on VHS and I watched it all the time as a kid. I was like, where's the other Scooby-Doo characters?
Right. Well,
who's this girl running around with Shaggy? Where's Daphne? Where's Velma? Where's Fred?
I will say I do like 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't have the full cast. You have the little kid Flim Flam and Vincent Van Ghoul.
And Daphne's in that one.
Daphne is in that one.
I also really like the Ghoul School.
Ghoul School's all right. Yeah.
Which one's the one with the Hex Girls?
It's the sequel to Zombie Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I forget what it was called. It takes place in Salem.
Of course,
The Witch's Ghost. Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
It was hard to remember because it's incredibly generic.
I mean, most of the Scooby-Doo movies have like really generic titles.
I remember when Zombie Island came out, and I was really into Scooby-Doo as a kid because it would play on Cartoon Network all the time.
Yeah.
It was like the first new Scooby-Doo thing that they had made in years, and I was so super stoked.
Yeah, I think
it.
other than that, we only had like a pup named Scooby-Doo.
Which is also good.
I liked a pup named Scooby-Doo. That was all right. Red Herring, the bully, the school
You know
bully.
what? As kids, we didn't appreciate the joke.
It kind of.
I got the joke.
It
I
kind of
didn't.
had like the irreverent humor that it's on its path to Animaniacs.
Yeah, yeah.
The pup named Scooby-Doo is one of the steps to
It's
get
one
to
of the
Animaniacs.
steps. Yeah, absolutely.
Pup named
Absolutely, I can see it.
Scooby-Doo, Tiny Toon Adventures.
Animaniacs.
Animaniacs. Yep, I definitely see it.
And then it pinnacled at Freakazoid.
Yep.
Freak for me?
Freak for you.
Okay, so
Ooh, maybe he needs to be in multiverses. Let's put Freakazoid.
Oh,
good.
that would be so
That would
good.
be
I
really
would
good.
pay. I would pay money for Freakazoid.
Yeah.
because you probably would have to.
You would
Yeah.
have to, yeah. But okay, speaking of Scooby-Doo, did you know that the Batman Brave and the Bold made-for-TV movie is a Scooby-Doo crossover?
Is the
Yes.
Scooby-Doo movies episode basically?
It's a Scooby-Doo. Yeah, it's a Scooby-Doo movies, Batman Brave and the Bold, where Batman has his own team of detectives. It's him. It's the Question. It's Elongated Man. I think Hawk Girl and Detective Chimp.
Yes, I was going to say, I remember Detective
Chimp is in
Chimp.
there.
Yep.
I remember Detective Chimp.
Yeah, so they team
course I
up
would.
and solve a mystery together. And
Yeah.
and they keep crossing over. And Combs is the voice of
Jeffrey
the Question.
Jeffrey
Combs
Combs.
comes back as the Question, and he's great.
Wait,
in it.
you mean the entire cast of every Star Trek show?
Yep.
Because Jeffrey Combs is in everything.
Was it Wei Yun and
Dude, he's like 6 or 7 roles through the whole
because he's great.
from
Yeah,
like
he's a
Next
good
Generation
actor.
on.
Yeah.
He's in everything. He pops
mean-
up in every series.
Castle Freak.
Is it From Beyond or
Yeah. That's one.
That's where everyone's goopy
Yeah.
and weird,
We built a machine that lets us see weird fish.
and they make us real horned.
Yeah.
Wasn't Jeffrey Combs the bad guy in The Frighteners as well? Like one of them.
I've never seen The Frighteners.
Maybe?
That's the one with Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, and he sees ghosts.
Yeah, he sees ghosts. He's a scam artist. He has 2 ghosts that are friends that he's friends with.
Like the
he has the ghost go into a building, and then he comes in as the ghost exorcist, exorcises the ghost, then
It's-
moves on to another town
It's
bilks other people.
It's the story of Dragonheart.
yeah,
It's the
basically.
story of Dragonheart
Yeah.
with ghosts.
And then there's an actual like evil
then
ghost
there's an
that shows
evil.
up that he
Yeah, there's
actually
an
has
actual.
to-
The ghost of like a serial killer.
something like that.
Yeah, I used to love that movie.
Yeah, but like there was like evil like weirdo CIA agent with like a cult whatever, and it was Jeffrey Combs, but he was like all wet and like hunched over and stuff.
He was like if Spider-Man 3 Peter Parker was moist.
Oh yeah, basically,
and did less dancing.
Even had the hair.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Had the hair swoop. Yeah.
And I remember because the whole caveat in the film is you can only see ghosts if you've experienced a traumatic event that involved death. And then like the girl that Michael J. Fox is like running around with during the movie near the end has an event, and then at the end of the movie they see the ghost of Jeffrey Combs in the back of the police car. He's like all grumpy and stuff, and she's like, "Oh man, he looks mad." He's like, "Yeah, he does." And there's like, you can see him, and that's like pretty much the credits. And then they play, that song, that really iconic song. That's
Walk the Dinosaur.
no,
Yeah.
Boom, boom, acca-lacca-lacca, boom, 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 acca-lacca, boom, boom.
Don't Fear the Reaper.
Don't Fear the Reaper. Okay, yeah. That classic Blue Oyster Cult song, Godzilla.
I think they played that in the '99 Godzilla film.
Absolutely, they did.
I hate that movie.
But I love that song.
I love that song.
It's a great song.
I hate that movie. I hate the Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie. It's so bad.
I gotta mention that I saw Deadpool and Wolverine
yeah.
last night.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's very good. It was very, very good. The first time in a long time I saw a Marvel movie that actually surprised me with something.
Oh, cool.
But I'll leave it at that because I don't want to spoil it at all.
Good.
I just let you know it's worth seeing.
Okay, I gotta ask: are there credit or credits scenes?
There is an after credits, but it's a joke one. It's not like a...
So it's like the Deadpool one.
Yeah, it doesn't set up some other dumb movie or something.
And that's fine. And that's fine. I
After
think
credits should be jokes.
I'm gonna say I prefer the after credits that are jokes, like the one at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy with Howard the Duck.
Yeah, or the one at the end of Avengers where they're just sitting and eating
Eat
shawarma
shawarma.
quietly. Yeah,
In a destroyed restaurant. Mm-hmm. Oh man, when we all went to see Guardians and we're sitting there, and then Howard
and I
Duck,
screamed, "Oh my God, it's Howard the Duck!"
I know, that's like the happiest I've ever heard you.
The whole audience laughed. It was great.
Yeah,
It was great. Well, it was packed, and we were at the front row.
Yeah.
It was like the worst seats. We're front row and all the way to the right, so like we're looking up at a weird angle.
Yeah, it was like when I saw episode 3 in the theater, and I'm like, I'm in the front row, like,
Yep.
Ow, my neck.
yeah, having a seizure from these extreme close-up lightsaber fights.
For some reason, when we went into the theater, we were like, I don't know, we were like a half hour early or something. But the screen was flashing like green, red, and blue.
Oh yeah,
bright
it was
light.
just flashing. Yeah,
It was horrible.
Oh yeah, it was pretty rough. That was a movie tavern in Hilliard, wasn't it? That we went to see Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Was it?
Because it's because we tabled at a con at Pack Rat
Yeah.
Comics.
That showed up on my Facebook memories today.
Oh, nice.
Was that
nice?
Was that the year that we met Doug Jones?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the year we met
Friend of the show.
Doug Jones. Yeah.
That was a good time.
That was a good time.
That and playing poker with
Brian O'Holler.
Brian O'Holler was
Yep.
was
And
good
he stole
stuff.
He stole all my Vampirella comics.
He did clean house.
Yeah.
He did clean house.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But he was the guest, so
He's Dante. I would have let him have all
He
of
could have
them.
just had them.
Yeah, I would have let him have all my Vampirella comics. I mean, I did watch Pearl, the sequel to X.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was very good. I liked X too.
X was all right.
Yeah.
I have
I liked Pearl
no
Milk
frame
Worm.
of reference for any of this. I've never heard of either one of these.
X was a horror movie by Ty West.
Mia Goth is the
main
The
character.
Sims character?
No, I do the same thing every time.
yeah.
No, that's Bella Goth.
I know.
Yeah. But she plays the final girl and the villain as an old, and the villain's like an old lady. So she plays like her current age and old age makeup old lady.
In X, it's set in the 70s.
Yeah.
And a crew goes to this desolate farm to film an adult film, basically. And
under the nose of the owners of the property.
Yes. Unbeknownst to them, the elderly woman who lives there is crazy.
Yeah.
And the husband covers up her murderous tendencies. And then Pearl is the prequel that was made after X, but is a prequel.
They shot it like directly after. And it's the story of the old lady when she was a farm girl in the, I want to say 30s.
30s. Because, well, you know what? It's the 40s because the husband just comes back from war.
Yeah.
So it's like 42 or something like
and
that.
And also the Spanish flu is happening. So
Yes.
it kind of parallels the pandemic that was happening at the time the movie came out.
And Mia Goth plays young Pearl as well.
Yeah. And it's a good like follow up. It makes sense with the lore of the previous movie. Tells a good story.
If it was the Spanish flu, it'd be the 20s. So he would have just came back from World War I.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's
you're right.
it. That's it.
You're right.
Yeah.
It
I hate being a history idiot.
but you're right.
You're correct though.
It has new Superman. David Cornsweet is in it, and he's pretty good as like a pervy projectionist at a movie theater.
I mean, we've all watched Fight Club.
But she wants to get out of her backwoods town and her overbearing German mother, and dreams of stardom in the movies.
She wants to be in the pictures.
She wants to be out of the pictures.
I want to be in the picture show.
And it kind of has like a Wizard of Oz kind of vibe running through it.
Until the murders.
Yeah, until it turns into the straight up horror movie that you're expecting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Oz could easily turn into a horror.
That's what Return to Oz was.
Yeah, kind of.
I have never seen Return to Oz.
Dude, you need to watch Return to Oz.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it, but I think I blocked most of it out, probably.
The Wheelers will freak you out.
The only thing I really...
the men with the wheels on their hands and feet, and they roll around. Yeah.
The only thing I really remember or I know of with Return to Oz is the big fat robot TikTok.
Oh, TikTok is good. Apparently, the performer of TikTok had to do the whole thing doing a handstand.
Fun.
Yeah.
What?
He's to get the walking weird, like the specific movement. He is inside the suit
Upside down.
Upside down.
That's like when David Lynch makes you do your dialogue backwards and then flips it, but with walking. But Pearl was great, and I'm excited to see Maxine.
I am too. It's a time jump to the 80s, so it follows the main character from X
trying to make it in
legitimate
Hollywood.
film in Hollywood.
Those neon
She's gonna be a star.
She's gonna be a star, and Giancarlo Esposito is in it in a villainous role, I believe.
When is he not playing a villain?
He's a good villain.
I know he is.
He seems like a nice guy,
but I
he's a
feel
good
like he's
villain.
getting typecast.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Yeah, he is, but that's fine.
Because he was a villain in Breaking Bad. He's the bad guy in The Mandalorian.
He was a bad guy in Once Upon a Time.
Who was he in Once Upon a Time?
He was the magic mirror who was also the genie of the lamp.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
God, that show sucks.
It does. Oh, it does.
There's a scene in Pearl when she does her big audition for the traveling dance group show, and it's just so perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Because she's not
good.
But she's not bad either. She's just normal.
She's just normal.
And that's not good enough to make it.
Yeah.
And she just is just dancing her heart out, but it's just fine.
Yeah. All right, well, hey, let's go ahead and take a break here. When we come back, we will get into some news.
Greetings. I'm former BBC News broadcaster Mags McKean. I don't get to the States nearly as often as I'd like, but when I do, I always make sure to tune in to my favourite radio programme, Long Play. It is brilliant. I was very excited to learn through my connections at the BBC that Long Play is now being broadcast at 4 p.m. Sundays in addition to Friday nights at 11 and Saturday afternoons at 3. I invite you to join me for a veritable trifecta of vinyl virtuosity. Cheers, everyone!
Hey, this is Doug Jones, and you are listening to Nerd Overload, and I'm kind of over loaded with nerddom.
We're back and we're gonna be a star.
We're all gonna be a star.
Going through these news articles.
Dateline 2024.
Beetlejuice Man or Ghost Man? There was the new Beetlejuice trailer.
Beetlejuice trailer. It's good.
It was good. It was way better, I think, than the other ones.
I agree.
It made me more like I wanted to see it already because I love Beetlejuice. But that first trailer was not incredible.
Mm-hmm.
This one was a lot more fun.
It looks like this one we're going to see a lot more of Ghost World.
Oh yeah, it definitely feels like it's more Ghost World, and also a slight redemption for Beetlejuice as a character. He's like,
maybe not.
He's playing an angle.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, because he's Beetlejuice. He's a grifter. It's what he does. But it feels like that the Willem Dafoe's character and whoever the woman is.
It's Monica Baccarin, isn't it?
Belushi.
Monica Belushi.
Possibly Beetlejuice's ex or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, she definitely is.
Oh yeah, definitely seems like the villains or of the movie.
I love
I think I
this.
brought this up on the show before, but
The finger
the finger thing
Yeah,
from
yeah,
the first
yeah.
movie, he pulls the wedding ring off of a severed finger, and he says, "Oh, it was she meant nothing to me." Well, in this movie, that
less than
character
a throwaway joke.
Has a missing finger.
Yes,
I love her, like the stitch
The
down the middle of her
stitching.
face. That's so cool
It's
looking.
very good.
I will say I have always liked the ghosts in Beetlejuice. They're always so.
Well, that's because it leans into Tim Burton's
yeah.
art and style.
His strength is
Yeah.
this kind of weird,
Otherworldly stuff.
yeah, macabre, but whimsical look.
I guess the only thing I'm a little concerned about is in that trailer, it looked a lot like the Alice in Wonderland films.
Yes.
It had some of those vibes.
Yeah, it definitely has that. It definitely has that sheen of newer Burton, which is not fun.
But I don't know how you would get away with making a film that looks like it was made in the 80s
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
And Jenna Ortega's performance in the trailer, at least, was so boring
It was kind of flat.
and on the note. Like
It-
you're
very
doing
on the nose.
It feels like she's just being Wednesday again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you don't have to
But
do
less
that
interesting.
again. Yeah.
At least like Wednesday has like that history, that air of like, she's always been kind of a sardonic,
It would be kind of funny if
she was the complete opposite.
Of Winona Ryder, yeah.
or if she were like her mom, like Catherine O'Hara.
Yeah.
The art for art's
Oh
sake.
yeah.
Performative art.
the-
that would be a lot better, actually.
Cosmetol. I can never say that word.
No, that's not the cosmetologist.
No.
You're thinking of-
Like cosmopolitan city art
Yeah.
kind
Art
of
Nouveau
persona.
type. Yeah.
Yeah. That she has in the first movie.
I was
Yeah.
going to say cosmetologist is Edward Scissorhands.
I don't like.
That
I
joke
don't
makes the cut.
get that she's like exactly like her mom, but also hates her mom. But then maybe that's a thing with having kids. I don't know. I don't have kids.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Maybe that's how it works. I
Yeah,
don't know.
we don't have any dogs in this fight.
Yeah, but it seems weird to me that like I'm exactly the same as my mom, but also she sucks. Like,
Because every teenager thinks their parents
yeah.
suck.
Well, it almost seems like Winona Ryder as an adult, her career is either like some fake psychic or medium or like ghost blogger or
Yeah.
something like
It-
that,
yeah,
which is kind of weird and lame a little bit.
Well, yeah, it is weird because her whole passion in the first movie was photography,
Right.
which, would have made more sense if she would have made a career out of that.
Yeah.
Also, I love Winona Ryder.
I mean,
so,
she's great.
So great.
She's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've always loved her. Beetlejuice is very formative to my years,
Oh, sure.
It's like, it's back when Tim Burton made good movies.
Still does.
Big Eyes was all right.
He still does occasionally. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Big Eyes.
Yeah.
I never saw Big
It's
Eyes.
good. You should watch it. Christoph Waltz is really good in it.
Where is that guy gone?
That's a good question.
Just back to Germany to do
yeah,
German
I
things
guess.
now?
She was pretty much playing the same guy in every movie there for a hot
There for a
couple
minute.
years.
A lot of actors do that.
Yeah.
A lot of actors don't have range.
Nobody,
But he's very good at that one character.
nobody needs a smarmy
German
con artist anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the 80s anymore. Not every bad
Although
guy's
I
going to be a German.
really liked him in The Green Hornet. He was the villain in the Green Hornet. And he was just like a regular
with Seth Rogen and Jet Li.
Yeah, it wasn't Jet Li.
No, who was it?
Was he was some Japanese pop star.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of the guy's name.
We'll just say it was Gacked.
Yeah, we'll just say it was Gacked. All right, we got to jump into some other stuff.
We
got some stuff. I'm going to talk about. I'm taking the reins. We're going to talk about Evo.
All right, fighting game.
Evo 2024 happened. There was fighting games,
and no Lee Trevino to be seen.
No, not a single Lee Trevino. Although a fighting golf game would be pretty awesome. That would be great. Evo happened, and I mean there were a lot of the big championship fighting tournament of the year. Although Combo Breaker, which happens a couple months earlier, is starting to pick up some steam.
That is a great name for a.
It's a really good name.
That's a really great name.
It's
and
solid.
Also, like Sony owns Evo now, don't they? So we need another grassroots one.
Sony and I guess maybe Pokimane kind of owns part of it, or at least a chunk of it. But Evo is also like fighting game con. They announce a lot of new characters and new things coming up in a lot of the games. I'm not going to go through every single one because I don't think any of our listeners care about Grand Blue Fantasy or Under Night In Birth.
We don't even care about that.
If you do, let us know.
Let us know. Give us a call. Send us an email. But they showed off a little more of Terry Bogard, one of the guest characters for Street Fighter 6. Looks great.
It's good to see Terry get some love again.
Yeah. I hope that this crossover paves the way for another Marvel vs. Capcom.
No,
I hope.
No. Marvel versus SNK.
Oh, no.
You said Marvel versus Capcom.
And you said Marvel versus SNK. It's Capcom versus SNK.
God, somebody's going to get it right.
Yeah, eventually.
Marvel not involved.
Marvel is not there. Although I would take another Marvel versus Capcom.
Yeah, do a good job this time.
This time, yeah. There's a group of modders that's working to turn Infinite into a legit. They're adding a bunch of characters, and they've added the cell shading filters back into it, like 3. But yeah, that was the big thing for Street Fighter. Not a whole lot for Street Fighter. Tekken 8.
Yeah, Tekken was a lot of the news right there.
There was a lot for Tekken 1. They've teamed up with Nike, and you can buy Tekken shoes in real life, and also some of the skins in Tekken wear Nike shoes now.
Yay, brand synergy.
Yeah, woo.
It's like the time they put that Lexus in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you have all these fantasy like buggies and then one real car.
That Link can sit in.
Mm-hmm. Not comfortably, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I think I have like a Mercedes or something on Mario Kart.
That's what it is. It's Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes. That's what it is. Yeah, you're right.
I always thought Wario looked right sitting in the Mercedes.
Oh,
though.
sure.
It's Wario.
Yeah. Well, I mean, his main car is the coupe, the purple coupe.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But no, Heihachi Mishima,
yes,
the main villain from Tekken 1 and a lot of the other Tekken games, leader of the Mishima Zaibatsu.
And kind of a PlayStation mascot
Kind of
for a while.
He really was. I mean, he was the guest fighter on the PlayStation PlayStation 2 Soul Calibur 2.
He was killed off 2 games ago by being thrown into a volcano. But somehow he survived, and it also made him younger.
Like I said off mic, it's his Lazarus pit.
It really is. And this is after just about every character in the game over and over saying, Mishima's dead, including the game's
Mr. Tekken.
Mr. Tekken.
John Tekken.
Harada has said in interviews for years, Mishima is dead. Don't ask me questions. I will give you nothing. Mishima is dead.
I have one comment for you. Heihachi Mishima is completely dead.
And he was lying the entire time. He is the new Ed Boon. Ed Boon historically lies about all of his games.
Yes. So does Peter Molyneux, but not for fun.
Not in a fun way.
No. Ed Boon, you can ask him if a character is going to show up in a game, and he'll say, "Oh yeah, no, they're not," or "Oh yeah, sure they are," and be totally wrong.
Yeah.
Except for Su Hao. If you ask him, no, he's like, no. Su Hao will never come back. See, what were the other ones? Oh, SVZ KAOS, an old arcade game, is getting a mobile. Not mobile, but like Steam, Switch, PlayStation port.
Yes.
That game is awful jank, but I love it. The sprite work in it is phenomenal because it's SNK sprite work.
Yeah, it's just cool alone to see the Street Fighter characters redrawn in
a different style.
Especially since during the time this game came out, they were notoriously using the same sprites over and over
The
again.
Morrigan sprite, I wouldn't be surprised if they introduce Morrigan into a 3D game, it's just the 2D sprite at this point because they used it over and over and over again. But yeah, the game...
I would kill for a new Darkstalkers.
Oh, man.
Everybody
would. I would, yes.
I'm surprised they haven't put Morrigan in Street Fighter 6.
She probably will. She'll probably end up in it because it's the same canonical universe.
Hey,
Yeah.
look out for an October update.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have no doubt that they'll put Morrigan or Dimitri's the other main character in that.
The British zombie man would be cool. The punk zombie man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lord Raptor.
Yeah.
Lord Raptor would be good. Let's see.
Felicia is always a fan favorite.
Of course she is.
For good reason.
She's the half naked cat girl.
I like John Talbane, the Kung Fu werewolf.
I love him.
Yeah.
The werewolf with nunchucks?
Yes, I love him.
What if Bruce Lee was werewolf? He's great.
Also, his name is a reference to the original Wolfman.
The Fishman is good.
The Fishman is good.
The Mummy is good.
Not. Well, the Mummy's okay. Mummy's okay.
I used to play the Mummy a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like what's her Manat has the Egyptian themed character.
Right, but
unlocked.
Manat's not coming back.
Yeah.
Manat will never come back.
Why?
What about Hood?
Why?
Because they're going to go back to Rose.
Oh.
Because they always go back to Rose.
What about Hood though?
BB Hood?
BB Hood would be great. Yeah.
I love her and her little.
The only one that's not a monster, but she's a serial killer, so she is actually the most monster.
I thought she was a monster hunter.
She is a violent child.
She is a violent child. She has a wicker basket full of guns.
A monster hunter is just a serial killer for monsters.
Yeah. And when the game is all about monsters.
It's like that one Starbomb song where Simon Belmont crashes
the
Dracula's house party.
Yeah, the Monster Mash and takes them all out. Yeah. The last things, SNK had a couple of announcements for their games. They're adding a couple more DLC characters, but they're classic DLC characters for King of Fighters 15, I think they're up to this.
It's a big number.
It's a big
number. They
number.
should just put years on it like they used to do.
I agree. Yeah, I liked the years much better, but because the games now have multiple DLC passes and they go for multiple years, I can see why they don't do that.
Still, though.
But no, they're adding Iori's two sidekicks, Vice and Mature, who I really liked as characters. Solid designs. And then Kevin Ryan, the cop, is coming to Mark of the Wolves 2, which...
Andrew Ryan from BioShock's brother, Kevin Ryan.
That's it, yeah. Yeah. When I first saw it, I thought it was Brian Battler, the football player from King of Fighters. Yeah. Who was on sports team with the basketball player and the baseball player. Yeah.
All sports.
Brian Battler sucked. All of his specials were tackle based.
Wow.
Yeah. It was bad. He was a bad grappler.
He could have at least thrown a football.
Yeah, no.
Real hard.
No, he had no projectile. He was a grappler base where he would run up and tackle you.
Then why isn't he just a wrestler then?
He should have been. Well, they all already had Raiden.
He sounds like
the big wrestler.
He tried out for rival schools and got
Failed.
turned down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's it for Evo. Basically, I mean, I could go through the list of winners, but people are very good at fighting games.
Yeah.
I would love to go to an Evo one year.
Oh yeah, I would go too.
Yeah.
And I don't really care about fighting games hardly at all, but I would watch. It's probably good.
Oh, it's incredibly hype. It's incredibly hype.
Hell, maybe we'll run into Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably. Good chance.
I watched the at AGDQ, the SGDQ Summer Games Done Quick.
Mm-hmm.
They had an Evil Zone tournament. Oh, which Evil Zone is a crusty anime fighting game for the
It's a one button
PS1.
fighter.
Yeah,
It's a one button.
And-
It's a one button and tilts. That's all you get.
and just watching that tournament was super hype. Like,
Oh yeah, Evil Zone is great. I love the aesthetic that it's a bunch of different anime characters from different shows that are portaling into their other shows and fighting.
And they're all fake shows.
They're all fake shows.
Yeah.
So you have like was it not Grand Sizer, but it was basically a common rider with a sword. You have a magical girl. You have a mecha anime character. You have a bunch of others. Fantastic.
I thought we were talking about this is going to be like a Jump Force before there was a Jump Force.
It kind of is a little bit, but they're
But,
all
you know,
but they're all
fake
made up.
characters.
They're
Yeah,
all
fake
fake
all,
characters.
yeah, generic
original.
version. Great. It's great value jump.
Yeah, there's like there's a Yu-Gi-Oh esque, like all of his attacks are magic cards, not magic cards, but like
Magical cards.
magical
Yes.
cards. Yeah, I guess that would be a card captor Sakura, but he's a guy in a suit, kind of thing. I think there was a
he's-
JoJo.
I think he's one of the top tier
I
characters
think he is as
too.
well. Yeah,
A JoJo.
but that's it for Evo. So let's move on to some other stuff. We have some trailers.
Yep.
We have some trailers.
There was a trailer for Rings of Power Season 2 from Amazon.
The Lord of the Rings,
Rings
prequel.
prequel.
Yeah,
It looks like it has more things going on than the first season did,
yeah.
which was just a lot of elves talking to each other in beautiful surroundings.
I mean, that's kind of what the Silmarillion is.
Sure.
When everybody's first coming to Middle Earth and everybody's waking up and everything.
Well, Josh, you guys have both read the Silmarillion, right?
No.
I have.
Okay.
It's the most boring book on the planet.
Okay, so is this show
it is
taking bits from the Silmarillion?
Yes.
Or okay,
Yes.
so it is at least partially canon-esque.
Yes. Well, everything is technically canon
Canon-esque.
because everything
do
because everything has to go through the Tolkien estate.
State.
Yeah.
I've never finished a Tolkien book, any of them.
I started one, but he described a blade of grass for like 3 paragraphs, and I gave up.
Exactly.
I love Tolkien. He's very descriptive, paints beautiful pictures. I can understand why he is heralded as a great author.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
He is bone dry.
Well, it's because he's a linguist first and a writer second.
Yeah. Okay. Other than the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, Tolkien also wrote the Oxford Dictionary.
Yeah.
He literally wrote the dictionary.
Arguably on par action-wise.
Yes. Yes. No, seriously. Reading any kind of combat in The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings is like a fight happened. And then this is the fallout from that.
But let me tell you about this rock.
Yeah, this rock, this tapestry. We're going to sing this little song in Bilbo's grand room.
I think The Hobbit is the most because it's technically a children's book.
Yeah.
But it is the
Yes.
most digestible of the
Oh, sure.
bunch.
but
Yeah.
also it's the most hokey.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I like hokey.
It's very
Yeah.
goofy. Like there's a lot of talking about like, you know, when the dwarves get really upset and they're all talking amongst themselves and Bilbo's like, he's just staring at them and just talking about how much their beards are wiggling.
There's some great like turn of phrase too.
Yes.
With,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
stuff the Hobbits say.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We're treading.
We're getting
well
yeah.
worn ground with this conversation.
yes.
Yep.
There was a trailer for Alien Romulus. Did we talk about that?
We did not. That's been on the board for
A week.
2 weeks.
Yeah. This is the second week. But
I did see the trailer again at the movies, and it looks like a good movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely feels like it's kind of getting back to its like horror roots and less of its action movie, comings.
It's more Ridley Scott than
Alien versus Predator.
no. I was gonna do Aliens. Who's the directed
James Cameron.
Yes, it's more Ridley Scott Alien than James Cameron Alien.
But I like Aliens.
Aliens.
I do love Aliens.
I've never seen it, and
you have that iconic scene with Ridley in the power loader.
I prefer action movie to horror movie typically, and that's what Aliens is.
Yeah, it's action movie.
Do you know the story about how he pitched Aliens? He went to the studio heads and he wrote on a whiteboard Alien, and then he wrote an S and turned it into a $sign, and then walked out of the room, and that's all it was. And they were like, "Oh, yep, okay."
That reminds me of the story of how Kevin Smith got Red State made. No studio would touch it because of its questionable content.
it's called Red State.
Yes.
And the guy who financed the movie saw the name Kevin Smith. Is like, oh, I love his movies. They're hilarious.
Oh yeah, I thought it was a comedy.
Yeah, and just gave him money.
Yeah.
Speaking of Amazon, the Halo series is canceled.
It's not on Amazon.
Or
It was on Paramount.
Paramount. Right. I don't know a single person that watched that show.
Everything I've ever seen is
No.
people hated it.
Yeah.
It was bad.
It shouldn't be hard to make a Halo show. There's a lot of lore and stuff there, I'm told.
The first 3 books are great.
Master Chief's armor is not accurate.
Oh, no. We can't have this conversation again.
Here.
Let's talk about Famicom Detective Club. Let's do a regular video game
Let's
news.
do a video game.
Yeah.
news.
They announced that they're making... Well, first, Nintendo uploaded this weird trailer for an M-rated game. It had like a man with a bag on its head, and it was really out of left field and really not Nintendo looking.
Man with a bag on his head.
Yeah. Everybody was like...
Isn't
Dr.
that-
Faust from
Yeah.
Strive.
I was going to say, isn't that Jason Voorhees?
And nobody knew what it was. Nobody could figure it out. It turns out it was a teaser for a new Famicom Detective Club game, a franchise that hasn't seen a new game since like 1989.
I mean, yeah, it's got Famicom in the name.
Yeah.
And it was Japanese exclusive for the longest time, wasn't it?
Again, it's got Famicom in
Yeah.
the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just re-released. Well, not just. It was probably a year or so ago. They re-released the two other games in the series on the Switch,
Yeah.
and they didn't do well, I don't think, which surprises me that they went ahead and made a third one.
I think they priced it a little too high.
They
if I
did.
remember correctly.
I think
Yeah.
each game is $30.
And that's too much. It should have been a 2-pack for $30.
Yeah.
Nintendo overcharging for a video game?
Good point.
I've played a little bit of. I have both of them. I should have just bought one because
Yeah.
I've never finished it. I want to go back and get them done before this new game comes out. I probably won't.
You know,
But I'll try,
I
darn
say
it.
that a lot with a lot of sequels. Like, oh, I'll take care of that. No.
No.
Because it's like a point and click adventure game, but it's in the Japanese style of those, where it's a lot of just picking things off of a menu until you can't pick things off of the menu anymore.
Yeah.
And it lets you move on to something else.
Why do the Japanese love their clunky menus? Every game.
Sounds like Police Knots.
Yeah, that's the exact kind of game it is. It's exactly Police Knots, but without the Kojima charm.
Yeah. The Kojima weirdness.
Yeah, it's Police Knots, but instead of the guy that wrote Metal Gear, it's the guy that wrote Metroid Other M.
Oh. God.
But it's better than Other M.
Well, I mean, that's not hard to do.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a low bar.
He writes a better mystery story than he does a Metroid story.
Yeah. Okay, so a couple more things, and a lot of this is coming from San Diego Comic-Con.
Yes.
The big Hall H stuff is happening, well...
Probably right now.
Probably right now.
Or tomorrow.
Or tomorrow. Yeah, it's going on all weekend. Let's see. There was another Borderlands trailer. It looks like Guardians of the Galaxy,
it
looks like-
but not as good.
Yeah, uninspired Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's Guardians from Timu.
Yep.
Yeah. KAOS, a Netflix series.
Yeah.
Which is kind of came out of nowhere.
About the boss from Donkey Kong Country 3.
Yeah, it's the one, the barrel
The
with
floating
the face.
barrel with a skull.
Uh-huh.
No. And
No.
he's being played by Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Now that's not the joke. Jeff Goldblum is in this show. It is about what if the
Olympians.
Greek pantheon.
Greek pantheon were still around and were the lead religion in modern day, and people finally deciding to rebel against them.
And then, Jeff Goldblum playing Zeus,
But they act like the Kardashians, or they act like
a crime family.
like a crime family. They're like
or
modern,
like the Borgias.
yeah.
That's another history nod.
It's interesting. It's interesting, but I mean, like the gods, they do have powers. They're not just they're not just like dudes. They
actually have abilities.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's how they sold it to Netflix. They're like, it's like a superhero.
probably. That's at least a little bit. They said Jeff Goldblum and superpowers, and Netflix is like, we'll give you enough money for one season and then cancel it.
I hope the end has a decent ending in case it doesn't get
Well,
another
I'll tell you
one.
what, Netflix is scrambling because they are definitively ending Stranger Things after this season, and they need something to fill the gap.
Yeah.
Ain't that the truth?
I feel like there are a lot of people that hang on to their Netflix account just because
Specifically
one
for
day
that.
Stranger Things is going to come back.
Either that or they really like all the weird animes that Netflix has been funding.
I mean,
funding and then canceling.
I mean, it's where I watch One Piece.
One Piece, that new Ultraman movie, Delicious in the Dungeon.
Oh, Delicious in Dungeon is so good. I've watched all of it now. It is so
what is a
good.
Chilchuck?
That's the little. He's a
He's
little halfling.
Yeah, he's the halfling guy.
rogue.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the little halfling.
Why
guy.
do people like the Chilchuck?
I don't know? He's a halfling.
Yeah,
he's
he's
basically a hobbit.
Is he
He's a-
divorced?
I think in the manga, later you hear about like his wife and kids.
Okay.
He's actually older than everyone else in the group.
Okay.
You just don't know it because he's a halfling.
He's a halfling.
He's so small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a lot of memes about Chilchuck and how his wife left him.
I always see memes either about Senshi being Senshi or the cat.
I see a lot of stuff about how Marcel loves the guy's sister, Fallon and Marcel.
Oh, okay.
I also see a lot of memes with the human fighter guy and the elf girl
Laios.
being whatever.
Nah, I wouldn't ship them. I don't like that.
All right, so we have actually hit time, so let's go ahead and wrap things up. You have been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
Do you have social media? You probably do. You can find our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitch, or support our Patreon. Everything can be found under links.nerdoverload.com.
If you want to get in touch with us for any reason, you've got several avenues in which you can do so. You can send us an email at staff@nerdoverload.com or give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline. The number is 740-229-9562.
The number has changed. We have a voicemail. We didn't get to it this week. We will get to it next week.
Unless there's a ton of news from Comic-Con.
Unless there's a ton of news from Comic-Con.
And then it might have to be the week after next.
We'll
but
see. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. You can find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and our YouTube.
We should probably put more on our YouTube.
We should probably put more on YouTube. We'll work on that.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
We talked about
live streaming
our
stuff.
Mario.
Yeah.
Or not Mario, the NES.
Oh, the World Championship.
World Championship. NES edition.
We'll figure something out.
Hey, we could probably live stream some Mario Party.
Yeah, there we go.
Too, yeah.
Get Dokapon Kingdom going.
Oh no.
We can all hate each. You can watch the show explode in real time.
You can watch the last episode of Nerd Overload.
That's it. Yeah.
We might as well just play Monopoly at that point.
There is a new Mario Party coming out sooner than later.
Nice.
It is true. With a lot of
It looks
stuff.
good. It looks.
It does look.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. And finally, I'd like to thank Parker for helping us out over at the Facebook page and David Pencil for our intro and outro. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
You oughter believe it.